Right, much shit. Doing those and moving on. The 300 episode. Really cool. Alright, guys, almost done. You ready to turn it down? Alright, let's see. Big up, everyone. So I can find that shit. I don't know. All right, big up everyone. That'll be fantastic. Welcome to the 300th episode of Betterment Broadcast. I have just come back from a tech talk. I'm happy I made it in time. I thought I was going to be late. Good event. And let's start as we all start. So let me get the stuff open. Welcome to. Oh, I should actually have it on screen. Let's see. There it is. So welcome to the 300th episode of the Betterment Broadcast. That's right. That's 300 episodes, 300 attempts at trying to help the black community. Isn't that interesting? Yes, sir. There you go. And this is the 300th one. We've got a very important show this week. I'm surprised because today I had to do like a talk about tech and black tech and stuff. And wonderful event, very good things like that. But I didn't know if I was going to make it in time, so I didn't really have too much time to prep. But it's still an important topic. I've still downloaded some stuff. Funny enough, I actually got a colleague of mine who's meant to actually film me speak so I could maybe play it here. But a lot of tech talk, there was a lot of technical issues. The camera couldn't record, which is a shame. So that was that. But still, we still have some other stuff to show you, which is good. But yeah, don't forget to tell a friend we're live. This is the 300th episode, and don't forget to follow Blackburn Bill. There was a few people I spoke to, but there was one, the guys the ladies who did the catering, amazing. I see if I can promote them as well. I've seen them at another event, so I'll get their stuff on push it. Very good stuff, very good food and catering they did. So well done to them. What was in the? I'll read that this one. I'll get it. So okay, so let's start with always start. And that is talking about retroactive expectations. And there's all that are the constructive activities that black community are designed to uphold collectively to recover from atrocities from the past. And that is split into four things. That's remember the atrocities inflicted upon the ancestors and the community in the past and present, and behave in a way that reflects this. Reconnect with black people locally and globally, and form networks to teach each other about different cultures. And repair the black community of historical trauma that caused self-hate challenges and health issues. Rebuild the black, and obviously the last one was rebuild the black community, economics, and black nations. There you go. So that's what we're doing there. We're trying to remember what happened in the past and living the way to recover from it. But in order to do that, there's an easy way of doing that, and that is the lifestyle black Batman. That's right. We promote the lifestyle black Batman here, and that is a lifestyle of black people continuously helping black people. Ta-da! There you go. That's pretty much all this show is about. No real bells and whistles, although one day we'll make it a bells and whistles show. Just really basic, really. People turn up here to be constructive, and that's what it is. We try to be constructive as possible, as much as possible. That's what we're doing. So today the shows normally last an hour, and then if people jump in, it might go to 2 hours. I've got a lot of things on, although it isn't the 300 episodes, so we will do it. But unfortunately, the good topics will be about tech and stuff. I don't know how much I can talk about. Um, and obviously, the unfortunate topics would have been some of the things that's happening around the world, especially in the UK, that we're going to unpack as well. And I got a few videos. I have to cipher through them, see which ones are the right ones. But yeah, we got to do that. Got to do that. So how should we start this? Well, first let me see if I can find that. Let me. I don't know. I'm hoping this works because I usually block stuff. I'm gonna put this. This is the page of the ladies who did the catering at the event. What are they called? Let me get their name. They were the House of Jima Iguani. I think that the House of Jima Iguani. I'm probably saying that. But let me pull it in so you can read it. So if the link doesn't work, let me click on the link see if it works. Let's see if it works. Hold on. If I click on it, I don't know if I can even click it. Let me put the name so you guys can go support if you need catering. I think that they're based in London. And I think that's their name. I put their name. Good catering today at the uh, tech talk. So well done to them. Two Nigerian twin sisters, I think it was. It was good. I was telling them about my problem of trying to find. What was I telling them? Trying to find. What was it? Moi Moi that doesn't have fish in it. So they said I can order in bulk from them. So that's good. All right. Cool. Anyway. Yeah, so let's go. So we're going to play some random videos that's got nothing to do with the topic, give you a black bear perspective on it, and then we'll go through our two main topics, which are wait, should let me tell you the topics. Where are the topics? Oh yeah, don't forget discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Every time you try to practice black bearment, and try not to use derogatory language when you're on the show, if you do come on, if possible. So 300th episode. The Belfast Terror, Black Tech, which we might just briefly covered, really, but no videos, unfortunately, and the karmelo verdict, which is in the States. So yeah, we're gonna go over. We'll start with maybe the karmelo verdict first, but first we'll go through some random videos. Oops, there you go. And oh no, that was no. No, we don't need that, mate. We don't need the stick with it. Let me get rid of this. I don't know why that's still there. That one. So let's look at some random videos. Let's see if I've got any. Intro, the shows. That's 300. I can tell you, if you want to do anything consistently for 300 times, very hard. Trying to log in and have data and talk and waffle for 300 of it can be very challenging. So that is a test of commitment that we've been getting that long. So where is the? I've only got one thing.
Botswana people, they would have these dry.
Well, this brother's talking about. He's an actor. He's talking about the importance of having a black woman, as in on the production time. Let's see what he's saying.
They would have these dried bugs that they would salt, and then they have it as a snack. That's a real thing that they would have. But in the script, as written by the white guy who wrote the script, he had that as the meet cute for Suretse Kama and Ruth Williams. They meet with him popping these bugs into his mouth and chewing them, and Ruth comes up to him and goes, "Oh, what's that you're eating?" And oh, these are salted worms or whatever. And it always didn't sit right with me.
Right.
And I was like, that's the way they meet. And all the other producers around me who were not black would say, "Oh, but it's funny."
Hold on, so Ruth Williams. So I think this is the very very talented actor from the UK, brother, Nigerian brother. He's been active for some time. I think he must be talking about. So he played the president of Botswana, and I think this was a time when the Botswana president married a European woman. The first lady of Botswana was a white woman. Oh no, yeah, as in not the first lady. That's what you call it, right? Good. Not the first lady, but the first lady. Yeah. And I think he's talking about the love scene, but it's interesting because I thought he was talking about a black man and a black woman, but it's actually a black man and a white woman. So that was interesting. And then I think he himself is actually married to a European anyway. So
It's you know it's like it's cute, and I always just thought but I was alone. So it was a hard thing to push up against.
Yeah, because you feel like you're going up against the system, right?
Like, is it in my head or whatever?
Being hard to work with.
So we end up bringing in Amma Asante, who ended up
the
directing
director.
it,
Yep.
who's a black woman of Ghanaian descent. The first thing she brings up is when she goes, so guys, great project. This moment where Seretse meets Ruth and you have him eating these salted worms, like, I just don't think for a global story that's a love story, I just don't think that's the way we want to introduce this character. And they said the same thing, but it's cute, it's funny, they even said it's kind of exotic. I was like, oh
my God.
And she said such a brilliant thing. She said, well, let's just say this film had Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz in it.
Right.
Would you ever have a situation whereby Tom Cruise is eating salted bugs in the moment where they meet for the first time? And they literally went, no.
Man.
Wow.
Man. It just came out.
Yeah,
It just came out. Like,
no.
Man, why would you ask that? Of course not.
It's interesting because we look at Dave Chappelle and some other guys when they talk about when it's like European or white producers writing stuff for black actors and stuff. Sometimes they take things too far, but there's not really when we check them and say, is that really a good idea? And this is that like one of those kind of times, it seems.
No, we wouldn't do that. And it was so beautiful to have someone there for me to go, thank you. Thank you. It is, to your point, needs to be uglier. Needs to be uglier for us to relate to it.
This guy, this guy's cocky in the case where he thinks, well, and one thing, and that's so important from a black Betterment standpoint. There are many brothers and sisters who behave in ways that they could be different ways to do things. But I would say we should really be conscious about name calling. I would say that's something that I would push forward. That we're going to come across people who might have decisions that we think could be done better, but we should have some kind of like understanding, and also hearing their perspective on certain things could be key. But it's a perspective. But I definitely something I would say talk about
it to feel authentic for us.
Yeah.
That meet cute needs to be uglier. We need to denigrate it in some way in order for it to fit into our worldview.
There's no humanity. If they don't see you as a human being. Like sometimes when you talk to people, I guess because me being a stand-up comic, I really can tell people to kiss my. I go when he see me.
Right.
I go in for real. I go. You don't see us. We're the first humans on the planet.
Right.
How are we not seen as human beings when we knew how to be human before everybody first?
Right.
They came thousands of years after us, and all of a sudden we're not the human beings.
Right.
So when someone doesn't see, whenever I see rats in New York, right? You see rats in New York, and I know, and you see that? Yuck. Yeah. That's how they react to us. Right. You're like, ugh. But I know people who go, oh, it's another animal. I have a friend who has pet rats. And she goes, no, they're cute.
No, cool. All right, so we're just seeing the actor gentleman talking about having black producers that can actually help, not bring a show, how they write and how they describe characters and stuff. Having a more diverse cast, especially black people, whatever, can negate some of the changes you might see in some of those shows. Let me end it there. Cool. All right, what we're going to do now, we're going to go to wrong one. That's the wrong one, right? That's the wrong one. So we'll start with the Karmelo. So if you don't know the Karmelo verdict, I think hopefully I don't know if I've got a video to explain it better, but I think this happened not too long ago where I want to say that there was a black boy and a white boy in, I would say, maybe athletics event or sport or something like that. I think it's correct. And I think they got some kind of fracas, or maybe he was barged or something like this, and Karmelo pulled out a knife, and unfortunately the young boy died. And it's been kind of like, a tropical storm, and definitely I see like there was a kind of similar, not obviously as intense, but this whole OJ trial where you had it in America split on race. Well, unfortunately, and I don't know much. Hopefully, I can learn more about these videos. I haven't seen too much of. I think they've given him a verdict and he's been given guilty, but it's quite a long time he's been given. But let's see if we can find. Let's see if I can find some stuff. I don't know if there's any. Oh, is it? I only got 4 of them. Let me see what one's about all of them.
My son didn't intend.
Let me.
Is there anything that you see everybody's struck?
It's so very.
Let's get. This is these two first.
Their phone and getting these updates and finding out that Carmelo Anthony has been found guilty of murder. We just got word from inside the courtroom that they are proceeding to the punishment phase.
I think there was also some issues with who they got to represent. I think that in itself was a kind of a controversial thing. That who they got to represent and who was allowed in the jury and stuff like that. I think.
And Jobin Puneker, our reporter in the courtroom, says that he saw Carmelo Anthony's mother audibly sobbing in the courtroom after that verdict was read. Again, you can see some of the reaction here from outside the courtroom. We're going to keep an eye on that.
Okay, let's see some other stuff. Yeah, I'm working out more what's happening with it now. It's a shame. Let's see.
My son.
Is there anything that you can see everybody?
This one?
Both with
No.
It's so
Let's see what's saying there.
that a black boy was allowed, not one black soul on a jury, an all white jury, convicted him.
Oh, I pressed the wrong one, mate. I'm sorry about that, guys. So, whoopsie daisy.
see everybody.
It's so very.
It's not good. Sorry about it. Pressed the wrong button.
Black boy was allowed, not one black soul on a jury, an all white jury, convicted him in 2 to 3 hours. We know that they did not prove their case. They are currently sentencing Carmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney, and we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process. But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation, I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation. I can only allow lawyers to be what they are, lawyers. I can't instruct them. I can't stop them from doing anything. I have to respect the process just like anybody else. But what we saw today was flawed, unjust, and I ask that the community continue to pray for the Anthony family. I do not speak for them, but I know that the Next Generation Action Network will be here as support. My heart hurts right now because an ignorance of the law was done here today. Clear. We posted the jury instructions, and right now what we are seeing is a travesty. It lets us that black lives do not matter in the criminal justice system. It lets us know that we are not going to be afforded the same laws as anybody else. And I give a damn about nobody that feels like I'm playing the race card here.
You're 35 years, okay.
For 400 years, our people have been at the liberty and have had to suffer.
You have to do a case study to see like other cases of people self-defense and fighting and this kind of thing to see. That's quite high, 35 years.
The liberty of these laws. I'm speaking facts because the blood of slavery is in my
blood. How old is he? 20? Is he a teenager?
Blood, not your blood. And it's not for you to look at me and say, I'm playing the race card. I'm just a black man living in America. The fact supports that. You say I'm upset? Hell yeah, I'm upset. I respected this process, but we're going to fight like hell to make sure that Collin County know that Carmelo Anthony is not going to go away. I want to thank all of the people who traveled across this country, to all of the media's community supporters and people who have taken Carmelo Anthony as their own baby. I salute you, I thank you, and we got work to do.
Okay, let's see some other stuff here. So yeah, oh, one. Sure, oh, shoot. How do you get rid of that one? Okay, remove. Yeah, yeah, I'm let's see some of it. Let's see some.
Is there anything that you?
That one, let's see. There's a mother I can speak here. Let's see what this mother says.
Intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself.
It took less than 3 hours for a jury to reject 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony's claims of self-defense in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf.
I mean, the self-defense seems to be a very used term when it comes to, unfortunately, black children being killed on that part of the world. And yeah, I mean, this is interesting.
Prosecutors argued Anthony intentionally killed Metcalf after being taunted and shoved by Metcalf and his teammates at a high school track meet. Take us inside that courtroom. What stuck out to you?
What stuck out to me, number one, was the all-white jury. But I was trying to be, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the truth is on our side.
At the sentencing hearing, the defense called only one witness on Anthony's behalf, his mother, Kayla Hayes. What did you tell the jury?
To have mercy on my son.
What do you say to his grieving family?
It's unfortunate to where nobody wins. We've all been hurt by this. Everybody.
That poor boy is fixing to experience a life that I would not wish upon anyone.
Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, called Anthony's sentencing bittersweet.
What it boils down to for me is this.
I think I saw some videos of him being racist after the fact. This is the father of the unfortunate boy passed.
Austin will never walk through that door again and never give me a hug.
The case drew national attention, prompting protests in support of both teens. And both families involved say they've received threats.
This morning, I've had multiple emails, texts, threatening me, calling me all sorts of names.
During our interview, the Anthonys made a point to call back one man they say continues to dox them.
Why are you calling me, man?
To make fun of you.
Both families urged supporters to tame their emotions.
I forgave him. But people need to understand about forgiveness. Forgiveness was not for him. Forgiveness was for me, so I don't carry the rage, the hate, and that around. It will eat me up like cancer.
At the end of the day, there's nothing we can say or do for people to accept us.
Yeah. One more video here. One more. This might be a bit more. Let's
See, everybody started.
Is there anything that you?
I saw this one.
Both would you have done differently?
I wish I would have just been rebellious. I was told don't.
I think someone told him to have a white lawyer. And I think they're saying that they felt that maybe that worked against them or something.
Don't talk to this person. Don't talk to this person. I feel like it was just a setup. Now, so they told us, go get white attorneys. Every black person I went to a white attorney. No white attorney, they set them up, pushed them. Hey, here you go. I mean, no objections.
I feel stupid for even calling you, trying to make you believe what I believe. Because I really believe that, fam. Nigga, I don't went against my own people trying to convince black people white people is good, homie. But all white people ain't bad. Why? I ain't never met a bunch of bad white people.
One day, black people gonna understand something. Even OJ got a black lawyer. All you black people that keep trusting in white people are always gonna fail. At some point, you're gonna have to see, you're gonna have to go to a God for black people, and you're gonna have to go to your own people to survive. Charleston White is a public clout chaser who at one time was blaming Karmelo, then apologized for Karmelo, and convinced that family to have faith in white people, and then apologized to them about putting that faith in them, and then tell that same people that all white people ain't bad. That is the problem with black people. That no matter how many times white people, the racism of white people, white supremacy, the courts, the voting booth, no matter how much they play in our face, there's always a stepping fetching nigga that's still gonna tell you to trust black people or white people. But when are we gonna trust ourselves? They're gonna convince you to trust white people. But when are they going to convince us to trust ourselves, to put faith in ourselves? We have died trusting white people. I bet if we start trusting black people more, we live. If we start finding the God for black people, we live. For over 500 years, we're dying trusting white people. We have gotten nothing. When are we going to change that? Are we going to have the Carmelos? Are we going to have the Cyrus Max, where he can get hunted down by an Asian? And that jury and that system, it ain't the all-white jury. It ain't an all-black jury. It's the system that we trust in and that cannot save us. I pray you understand.
Okay. Yes, I'm trying to keep more close. I didn't know much about. I knew when it first happened, but I wasn't following afterwards. And obviously the versions happened now. Yeah, I'll see if I can find more. It's a shame. Well, and obviously from one part of the world, where they're going through some challenges, to another part of the world in the UK. Recently, obviously there was issues in England, but obviously for those that know, Belfast is a part of Northern Ireland. The island is split into two countries, I guess. And one's Republic and one is Northern. And Northern is part of the UK. And they've got their own history of conflict going back many years. So I've got a lot of things here. Let's see. So let me see if there's anything I can.
You're not tapped in. What you're saying, I only got.
I'm just trying to find.
This is the
a 2-month-old baby who had to.
Do you think they are trying? We need to be clear. This is these idiot migrants and black.
Let's listen to this. Forget. Oh, that's quite big, that one. Let me see the small one.
These idiot.
I'm trying to think. So, let me give it more of a context. So basically, there was a gentleman. I don't know much about him. I think they thought he was from Somalia, but he's actually might be from Sudan. And there's videos of him last week, unfortunately, trying to decapitate a gentleman from Ireland, and he sustained very serious injuries. He survived, which is good, but I think he sustained injuries, quite severe ones in cases, and it's caused a massive outcry in Northern Ireland. And we've got some videos now to see, because unfortunately racism is now a thing, and we can unpack. A lot of this stuff isn't. This has happened, and that person has become racist. A lot of racist people, they're waiting to mistreat non-white people, and this is when this chances come, they jump at. So that's the wrong one. Shoot.
You're not tapped in.
Let me see.
What you're only good.
So this is one of the things that they burnt down a sister's house, unfortunately.
3 things from the house, and the only thing I did not get from the house were the letters my children wrote for me, because that is all I have from my children. The letters that they wrote for me 3 years back when I was leaving them back home. I think that is the only thing I didn't get. I only got my passport, my laptop, and my uniform, because I have to go to work.
So the house was on fire, and she got her uniform. She couldn't get the tickets for the letters from her children. That's back in the country. I want to say Uganda, maybe. I'm not too sure where she's from. And she also had to work, but she got a laptop, and then and this is because of a Sudanese man. What's interesting as well, something that we should talk about is the label of this, because this is terrorism, right? This is how it works. So you're trying to terrorize people, and there's some other videos that I'm downloading of people being abused down the street and racist chants and this kind of stuff. Quite intense, really. Very bad indeed. Let's see what else we got.
You're not tapped. What you're saying is.
Let's see what somebody was saying about.
It's a race-based pogrom. We are seeing men going door to door, asking to get the foreigners out, based exclusively on the colour of their skin, and it's terrifying for people in Belfast who want this sort of politics to be far beyond them. There have been crimes against women, there have been violent crimes in Belfast throughout, but we don't see these mobs coming.
So what they're saying is there's been consistent, I think Northern Ireland they say is one of the highest when it comes to abusing women, unfortunately. And what this lady's trying to say, I've heard some others say similar, is that because when women get abused consistently, there isn't like the same kind of like violence to try to sort something out. But in this scenario, they've gone straight to race-based hatred. Big up, Brother Dominic. Also big up everyone else who's live here today.
Out unless the perpetrator is a minority, but these are terrifying scenes for people across Belfast, and they help nobody. And Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage will be sitting pretty in their big houses after bringing this level of disorder and fear to people in Belfast.
Let's see what's some other stuff. Let's see. Let's get the brother give his news trip down.
Who had to evacuate their own home because people were destroying homes and businesses in Northern Ireland. We saw somebody stabbed. It looked like they were about to be beheaded. Instead, he tried to, it looks like, take somebody's life, and he's been charged with attempted murder. But that hasn't necessarily stopped people from whipping up anger and horrible sentiment online, and it's led to other people being attacked as well. People putting up lists of suspected houses where immigrants live online, and black people attacked in the street, not necessarily on the content of the character, what they believe or what they've contributed to Northern Ireland, but on the basis of the colour of their skin. Yes, there are issues in Northern Ireland. Yes, there's 1 in 8 people living in poverty. Yes, there are questions about how you manage a free movement area with the rest of the Republic of Ireland, but many are saying, including many politicians, that doesn't mean that immigrants, migrants, asylum seekers should be scapegoats, that the actions of one person should be made to be representative of the whole. The Migration Observatory has observed that overall, migrants are often underrepresented when it comes to crime statistics. When we think of a place like Glasgow, where 96% of people are white and they had multiple stabbings, we don't necessarily use whiteness as an explanatory factor there. But when it comes to London or Manchester, all of a sudden, then we use migration, we use immigrants, we use black and brown people as proxies, often for some of the most hateful and harmful ideas that are known to mankind. You have billionaires like Elon Musk putting out things about Britain when he doesn't even know this place like many of us do. You have Tommy Robinson, funded by...
Unfortunately, racism is just... before, you have to argue if someone's racist or pro-racism or anti-black hatred. But now I think it's very straightforward. Like, you can clearly see... And you can clearly see the other groups that are uniting under certain banners. There's something to be watched out for.
Billionaires who support the Israeli government and what it's done against Palestinians, as well as meeting Elon Musk's father in Russia at a time when Russia is doing horrible things to Ukrainians. We have to ask who benefits from us being divided and torn apart, instead of focusing on what is common between us, that despite who we are or where we come from, we often share similar hopes and dreams. We all bleed blood at the end of the day. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts down below. And as always, you can follow Novo for more.
Let's see. So we're looking up the Belfast terrorism stuff.
Do you think they are trying?
Let's see this, shall we?
Find such division in our country that it leads to civil war, right? Because I can't imagine.
I was talking, Moss is on the TV with a chainsaw. You've seen what it is, haven't you? I was at his SpaceX thing. I'm seeing this on the news.
There's a long way to go to justify its stratospheric value.
Interesting character. Yeah. Okay, let's carry on. Sorry.
Imagine you're going to have. I live in London. I'm black. I can't imagine you're going to have white thugs kicking down doors in my area, expecting to attack ethnic minorities, and people don't fight back. I mean, have you met ethnic minorities lately? We've been so steeped in this for so long. Of course we're going to fight back. It will be ugly. It's disgusting. If someone kicks down my door, James, if someone kicked down your door tomorrow with your kids inside and your wife, you'd be on it, right? So this is what they...
Where was that? Because we covered a Irish actor very, very, very famous one. He was in Taken. I think Ransom. Maybe Taken. Liam Nielsen. I'm listening. Is he from Northern Ireland? Or is he from Republic?
They're trying to do raise it to the ground and then build it up in their own image.
What image is that? What image is that? Do you think? I mean, because
it's a white male image. That's what it is. I'm 3 generations deep, ethnic minority in this country, and I now have children. We are moving. If Nigel Farage gets in, backed by people like these, we are gone. I've already applied for our passports elsewhere. And
Liam Nielsen was born in Northern Ireland. Interesting. Let me see if I can find that while you play out.
I'm not the only one. I have teacher friends. I have lawyer friends. I have doctor friends. I am a doctor. We are going.
Let me play. So the sister's saying that, you know, if there's a chance, like, you know, certain racist people will be voting. I mean, what's happening is obviously the world's going through issues. A lot of rich people are making bad decisions and it's escalating up or down or whatever. And it's the easiest people. Like, you would never normally blame the rich people. You like, there isn't enough, say, immigrants or poor people or whatever to actually affect certain things. But for some reason, it's easy to market them as issues. Just always.
We need to be clear. This isn't a protest.
Let me see this guy. Well, I'm looking for something to download.
It's not right. It's a pogrom. There was a systematic attempt to try and force people. I saw an interview. Firstly, we need to be clear. This
that word pogrom, right?
isn't a protest. It's not a riot. It's a pogrom. There was
a pog rock. Are they saying it right? I mean, guys,
firstly, we need to be clear. This isn't a protest. It's not a riot. It's a pogrom.
Let me see, because obviously, very rarely they say words that doesn't cross my database. But that one, it's not. What's the definition? Let me just so I can get it right. Was it? This is that wrong. A pogrom, a program is a violent, organized right of mob attack directly against a specific ethnic, religious, and national minority. Okay, so that's something we should be studying that word. It seems to be very particular. These attacks are typically characterized by massacres, looting, and property destruction, and often either technically approved or actively condoned by local. Well, that's another thing, because if you're not calling this terrorism, then maybe you have some agreements there. But meanwhile, let me see if I can find the stuff I'm looking for as well. Quite shocking.
It was a systematic attempt.
See, some of the stuff is right. The fact time did the last thing about getting second passport. The reality is that it's never gonna get better. I might get brushed up the carpet for a decade or two.
Try and force people who are black, who are migrants, out of Northern Ireland and out of the UK. That's what this is about. You mentioned a nurse. I saw an interview with a black nurse who'd come to Northern Ireland to help people there, to save their lives, to help them when they're sick. She got burned out of her home. People are being burned out of their home because they're black, because they're migrants, including little children. That's what's taking place. In terms of the police response, this isn't going to be solved by the police. It needs to be dealt with at source, which is violent racists have been given license to believe that they have legitimacy to act on their violent racism. And that is because of our media, that's because of our politicians, and that's because of, not least, Twitter, X, under Elon Musk, who is a psychopathic far-right billionaire who is trying to incite a civil war in this country and has made that actually abundantly clear. And what I would say is we need the facts here. You know, we've had, over the last 2 decades, a big increase in immigration. No one can dispute that. In that same period, the murder rate in England and Wales has halved. It's half what it was in 2003. In London, the most diverse city in our country, it's at its lowest ever level. Hospital admissions caused by assault, knife assault, bodily force, blunt objects and firearms have all fallen sharply. There is no pandemic of violence being caused by migrants. What is happening is whenever there is a terrible attack, like this hideous attack in Belfast, if it's the perpetrator isn't white, it's seized on in order to whip up violence. When a neo-Nazi tried to behead a Kurdish barber 2 years ago, which I doubt anyone even watching knows what I'm talking about, there were no riots. When a postman beheaded his girlfriend, East Kilbride in 2024, white Britain, no riots. When a white woman beheaded an Asian woman in 2022 in London, no riots. This is being used as a incitement to whip up hatred and violence against black people, against minorities, and against migrants, and it has to stop, otherwise this country has no future.
So I found one of the videos, but what's wrong with these softwares I'm using? They're absolutely terrible. I'm just because Liam Nielsen's actually from Ireland, and that's why we do good care. We've looked at it all before. I think it comes circle. Let me see if I can download some stuff. There we go. It's not that big as well. 720p is. Let me get 320. Yeah, I don't need great graphics. Yeah, look at that. By the time we finish talking, it's already there, and I can drag it in there. Oh, I won't even put it in the Belfast one. Oh, come on, man. Download. Just put it in a nice place for you. There we go. Download by date added. Here we go. Why would it not? Oh, yeah, Liam Nielsen looking for a black. What the video says? Liam Nielsen looking for a black person to kill. This is a few years back. Yeah, let me see if I can find another one as well. Why I play this one? What title? Liam Nielsen looking for a black person to kill. Interesting. That's very terrible. Let's see if we can play it. Is this one? Oh no. There we go. Liam Nielsen shares a story about. Anyway, let's play it. Wow, look for something.
The popular actor is under fire tonight for comments he made during an interview. What he said about wanting to kill someone. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
A brutally honest admission from actor Liam Neeson in an interview with The Independent, promoting his latest movie, Cold Pursuit, where he plays a man seeking revenge.
Gonna kill him.
He says he understands the rage that can drive a person to revenge, sharing his own real-life reaction to hearing that a woman close to him was raped.
I asked, did she know who he was? No. What color were they? She said it was a black person.
The actor says he actually carried a billy club-like weapon called a kosh.
I went up and down areas with a kosh, hoping I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that. And I did it for maybe a week, hoping some black would come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, so that I could kill him.
Neeson says he now realizes just how awful his behavior was.
It was horrible when I think back, but I did that, and I've never admitted that.
This happened 40 years ago, but is just being revealed now. And online, this has sparked a bit of a backlash, some calling his comments racist. But Neeson says he's hoping that this can be used as a teachable moment. Liam Neeson will appear on Good Morning America tomorrow, David.
Lindsay Davis tonight. Lindsay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more video...
He was sexually assaulted by a black person, so they say. And, the first, he said, you know who they are? What color they were? Interesting. In a country with many white people, that's the question you ask. I guess so. And he found out he walked down the street armed, and he wanted to pick a fight with any black person, who looked at him or whatever. Very interesting way of process information. Let's see. What's the other one? Did I not put it in there already? That's what I did. Wait a minute. All there. Liam Nielsen. That's this one. And this is John Barnes, but we were talking about that same situation. I remember.
Welcome to you. Was this somebody being incredibly candid about an awful moment in their life, or is this beyond the pale?
Well, first of all, I just want you to give me a few minutes because I believe that Liam Neeson deserves a medal, and I'll tell you why.
And this is that kind of like all in Africa talk kind of black man approach, I guess, that I see, where there's a brother or sister who really wants to, everyone thinks someone's going to say something, but they want to go completely the other angle. And, rather than condemning, they want to give out medals, the guy says that a woman of his was sexually assaulted by a black person, and he picked up a weapon to attack black people. I mean, if every time someone was attacked by another group or ethnicity, they went down the street to attack that group. Well, I guess what happened in Belfast is what would happen, right? But what I'm saying is these brothers here, they need to think in a way that is more beneficial.
Liam Neeson, I've listened to the whole transcript. Liam Neeson was talking about his film Revenge, and he's talking about revenge doesn't do anyone any good. He mentions the fact that being brought up in Northern Ireland, he understands how destructive that can be. He went on to tell a story of a situation whereby a friend of his had been raped. Now, if you listen to everything he's talking about in the moment, and you can't blame Liam Neeson for thinking what he feels, because this is what, and this is a while ago, this is what society has shown him that black people do, Muslims do. This is what society has wrongly shown him. This is what the media have.
I mean, John Barnes back then was very, he's sympathetic towards this kind of stuff.
Wrongly portrayed to him. So in that moment, he said for a week, he was going around.
So for 1 week, he was walking around trying to harm black people with weapons.
Looking to kill a black person.
Killed, sorry, I said harm, killed, sorry.
Or a black, and he did that in quotation marks. Now, what he actually went on to say is that he was ashamed and horrified by the way he felt. Yes? He's not ashamed and horrified in wanting to commit the act of revenge. He's ashamed and horrified because that is what he thought about all black people. After a week, he realized he was wrong.
A week?
That is what he said. I'm ashamed and horrified of the way I felt. Now, depending on how you want to spin this story, now it's about he was going to kill a black person.
We want to ventilate.
That is not what
that is not what I got from that. Think about it. We don't want to spin it.
I beg your pardon?
I say we don't want to spin it. We want to think about it and ventilate it. It's an important subject.
No. It's been spun. It's been spun. Because if you want to think about what he's actually saying, the context, which is why he then said to the lady, I
don't know, maybe him and this are best friends. I don't know. If he's not, it seems to see the passion of defending someone who wanted to mistreat, kill black people because a black person allegedly sexually assaulted his friend.
In his voice, I've got a particular set of skills if you don't report this in the way that it is meant. Now we're talking about, and he threatened to kill the woman. What he's actually saying is that he's horrified and ashamed of the way he felt. He went on to say that. That is exactly what he went on to say, which meant that he was ashamed of the way he felt, but you cannot blame him for thinking that, because I said earlier, with the whole Raheem Sterling talking about the influence the media has, you cannot blame people for thinking Muslims, because of Muslim grooming gangs, Jamaican yardie gangs, then look at Muslims and Jamaicans in a negative light. And he's admitting that...
This is interesting because people in Belfast, they have a history of fighting for ethnic and religious reasons, organize and come together to harm and burn black people's homes. So should black people think that white people are terrorists? Should people think that people in Northern Ireland are savages? It's a very interesting thing, because that's by his logic.
That is the way he viewed it. So for this one black person who raped this woman, he then looked at it from the perspective of all black people are racist. Now what he's actually saying is that this is what I thought, this is what I saw, and I am ashamed and horrified.
But even if, let's say that all black people are racist, like he was or whatever, you're still harming an innocent person of the crime that motivated you to leave the house.
Horrified, and after a week, I said to myself, what am I doing? That is the reality behind it. As much as people are now jumping on this bandwagon of how terrible it is, what he's done, he's come out and he's told the truth. Now, the big problem we have is when people are afraid to admit the way they actually feel, everybody's now going to say, oh, if he had said, I have more respect for him now than had he come out and said, I've viewed all black people as equal, I just view everybody as equal.
Yes, John Barnes is doing too much here. And that's one of the challenges of his eyes. If you could look at the screen now, all goodness to brother John Barnes. And this is obviously an old video. But his eyes here is saying a lot. They tell me he's bucking, and he is doing a lot of explaining for anti-black racism.
He said was for a week, because of the stress I was under when my friend was raped by a black person, and because of what the narrative around black people and Muslims, and this is many years ago, surrounding the perception we have of them, I then wanted to kill every black person because, as far as I'm concerned, as I was taught, black people are racist. He said he was horrified and ashamed.
No, I think it's very important that, and this is one thing we did say, it's very important that when people are anti-black racist, we know, and we prefer people to actually let us know. I think letting someone know one thing is one, but I think the fact this guy's admitted to a crime or a potential crime, he actively went out to harm black people and wasn't successful. So it's not really a feeling. It's an act. At this point, it actually was an action, wasn't it?
Thinking that, but that is not the story we're telling. We now want him to be pilloried. We want us to never let him work again. People are now going to be afraid to tell the truth on how they feel. And I always say, we are all unconscious racists. And he said unconsciously for a week and a half, that's how he felt. We have people who've been doing it and keeping it quiet for 20 years, but as long as you don't admit it, then we think everything is okay. Now, the big problem we have is this witch hunt is now going to stop the process of people now, as in Rwanda, keep talking about our truth and reconciliation. Let's hold our hands up and say, I'm unconsciously racist. Don't blame me. This is what I've been wrongly told, which is what he's been said. And he's ashamed and embarrassed by it. So why is he being pilloried for it?
There's so much going on there, isn't there? I mean, it's important, as you say, to see the context of the whole thing, not just look at the 15-second soundbite, see the context of the whole thing, try and appreciate the nuance. And in a sense, that idea of sharing thoughtfully, very candidly, a stream of consciousness, as you say, if we want to ventilate sensitive issues around race, then people have to be given the opportunity to do that. Others will say, now, hang on a minute, the 15-second soundbite is all that people actually will hear, and therefore, as a civilized society, it behoves people to react strongly, to think about, and you'll see this on Twitter, and you'll see this on Twitter, won't you? People saying, take away his OBE, boycott his films, etc.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's take down the statue of Winston Churchill, who is a white supremacist and a mass murderer. He's a...
For him, moment, you see. So why don't we just, so many Europeans are white supremacists and mass murderers. The irony is there is movements of people who want to get rid of him, but he's not taking from that standpoint. He's taking from the standpoint that I suspect he sees these people he's mentioning that Winston Churchill as amazingly marvelous, wonderful people. That if you criticize Nielsen, then you might as well take their posters down.
White supremacist, and let's talk about him talking about the superiority of the Aryan race.
John Barnes, I've just finished the excellent Andrew Roberts biography of Winston Churchill, where it's unequivocal. Yeah. I mean, he held the views of his age, didn't he? Does it make him a less impressive?
And so did Liam Neeson. So did Liam Neeson. And is Liam Neeson any different? Liam Neeson, he held the view of not only his age, the age that is actually happening now. So what's the difference? How is William Churchill a hero when he spoke about, he believes in gassing the lesser races, but he's a hero? And when Liam Neeson comes out and he admits that he was wrong in what he did, whereas Winston...
I don't know. Did they say he believes in gassing the lesser races? So here's the thing, right? I don't think I've ever read that yet. Did he make that up? Winston Churchill gassing the lesser races. Is that? See if AI gives you some nice one on that. The controversy regarding Winston Churchill's use of chemical weapons primarily stems from the 1980 War Memorial as a serious state which event for the use of poisonous tear gas over British tribes. Is that like England versus something like in India? So I don't know. The 1919 war against who? I should know that fake really. Okay, yeah, but John Barnes is doing too much, as you can see.
Church would never admit he was wrong, never, and he still, if he was alive now, he would still believe in the superiority of the Aryan race. But Liam Neeson, someone who admits that after a week and a half of thinking what he thought, he was wrong, which is fine as far as I'm concerned. We're now pillaring him.
Okay, I suppose what we can't do. I mean,
we're just using case study. Family's lawyer now. Belfast, unfortunately, there was a individual who harmed a European man, and it seems to have contributed to started a riot where, unfortunately, non-white people being harmed, and particularly black people being harmed. And there was even a house with children in it that was burnt down. A house that was burnt. There wasn't children. She has children, but they weren't in the house. That's get that distinction right. So, at least I think so. That's yeah. Okay. That's good. Where's sorry. Video. Okay. So yeah, that was a segue there, and then we'll go back to what we said. Oh, come on. Let's look at Belfast.
What you're saying. Do you think they are trying?
We need to be clear. This isn't a pro. Here we are now.
This is what a small minority of people in Belfast considered the best response.
Let's see the responses if you haven't seen it. So yeah.
Minority in Belfast considered the best response to a serious stabbing. Homes were targeted and burned. Families had to be led to safety through the flames, rescued by emergency services, risking their lives in the most dangerous situation.
The far right position, the proper far right position of like restoring those people, is that immigrants are an alien culture. And I've been reading some of those comments online, that we've imported an alien culture that venerates bloodlust. We've imported from Sudan or Somalia, because of course he was identified as Somalian incorrectly to begin with, an alien culture that loves violence, right? That's not true. Like fun.
That's of course there's the Somali community. Well, everyone is miss ethnicity in it. There's no word for that. They're mischaracterizing them. Also, the constant barrage of hatred and stuff that's going on, as well as the whole the FIFA thing where there's a Somali ref who was sent back because people from Somalia are not allowed in America apparently anymore. It'll be good because obviously the Somali community have had it from at least when I've been public speaking. There was a few who had issues about black identity and if people are black or not black, and it'll be interesting to talk about how racism works towards Somali people and how they feel they're perceived and what it is that makes these groups so consistently trying to target the Somali community.
Fundamentally isn't true. Fundamentally, those targets of the anger are both misplaced and problematic because they're underpinned by an underlying misreading of society, but they also are being pursued with like very particular agendas, which is basically force mass remigration out of this country, which would be devastating if we had a more equal society, if there was like proper provision of mental health support for everyone in society. It would make our society better. Generally speaking, the more equal societies we have, the more healthy they are, the less social violence there is, the less antisocial behavior there is. This is all obviously true. I don't think that's the argument that I'm currently seeing prosecuted by any of our politicians, not a single one.
Oh, that's the whole thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, go through. Let's go through some really interesting ones. Let me see if I can play. There's really interesting ones going.
This is these idiot migrants and blacks.
Do you think this is Do you think they are trying to stoke up?
Did I play this far? I don't even know. Did I play this far?
Trying to stoke up such division in our country that it leads to civil war, right? Because I can't imagine you're going to have. I live in London. I'm black. I can't imagine you're going to have.
No, we did. So I'm thinking. I don't remember playing it, but I did. This is talking about defending yourself.
This is what is it? Migrants and black people are being burned out of their homes in Belfast. Here, this is here we're.
Do you think that this?
What you're saying?
This
sister's always got a good perspective. So what she said.
That white nationalists have violently attacked black and brown people, and I can't understand why no one's calling this what it is, which is terrorism. This is the literal UK definition of terrorism, right? It involves the use or threat of action designed to intimidate the government or intimidate the public, specifically encompassing serious violence against a person, damage to property, or endangering life. What part of what's going on isn't that? People are literally burning down homes with black and brown people inside, and the media are still calling it angry protests. Now, another thing that absolutely gets under my skin is when people say that, oh, this is just the frustrations of working class white people, right? Coming out at the wrong people. No, it's not. Inequality has always existed since the beginning of capitalism. The UK is the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, right? A time before there was mass migration of black and brown people, and there was always poor, unsanitary living conditions for poor working class people. We are seeing poor white working class people, mostly men, who love the idea of whiteness. They love the idea that they could be the most useless, carling, drinking, toothless
Francis Weston expresses this before. She was saying that whether you're rich or poor, you have like £1,000 or dollars worth of whiteness or whatever it is, and at least you're not black. And that was like a motivational speech that I heard she was saying.
Brain cell, 1 GCSE, idiot. But the idea of whiteness means that they will always be better and more valuable than the most educated black person. That's what they love. This is just an opportunity for them to express their hate, for them to be who they are. You know, racism is just an excuse. It'll be something else tomorrow. They are who they are. It's nothing to do with the state of the country and the fact that people are poor, people are unemployed and have nothing else to do and that they're angry. Stop excusing the nonsense. We know that these violent attacks have nothing to do with protecting women and children. They have nothing to do with the state of the country in general. It's nothing to do with that, because the majority of violent crime is committed by white men. Actually, it's less likely to be committed by an immigrant. But there are never any protests or riots about them. When their favourite politicians tax evade, there are no riots. And it is always consistently only one side of the political spectrum that will always respond to issues that's going on in the community with violence, with hate, with racism. It is not possible for less than 1% of the UK population to impact our economy and our infrastructure in the way these people are saying. Asylum seekers make up less than 1% of the UK population. Immigrants to this country are more likely to give than they are to take away, right? This is pure ego. This is pure white supremacy. This is pure grandiose narcissism at play. It's
Sister was giving good feedback there, so big up her. Go follow her page as well. Let's see this. I think I've got one long one, which I might end. Let me see. Let's see what else we got.
You're not tapped in.
Let's see this brother will give some good. Let's see what he's about to say. Very good stuff he says.
Them man said, yo, everything has to leave, blood. Where are you going? Are you taxing anywhere? Can you go on? Can you run off anywhere? Where are you going? Why does it take things to get this serious now? This is what I'm saying for years. You man have been everywhere but where people like you look. Some of you man's youths. Some of you man yourself haven't been to a black country, blood. You know how powerful that is as a black individual to step into a black nation. But you man have been Dubai 100 times, Saudi 100 times. Everywhere the Arab man lays his head, you're there. Everywhere the European man goes to party, Magaluf, Ayanapa, Mallorca. You're in every single European man's place, putting money in the economy, busting your juice in there, just empowering their thing. You haven't even gone, you haven't even stepped foot in Africa, blood. You and no homegrown Africans, you and their eyes ain't even made four, fam. Never even, forget about Africa, you ain't even been to the Caribbean, blood. You ain't even stepped foot where your grandparents was born, fam. I've walked which part my grandmother played as a child, my grandfather played as a child on both sides. That's where I've breathed the same air they breathed. I've gone back to the ancestral plane where our people suffered and re-energized and got a power up. You know, like in freaking Avatar, when they go to the tree and gets the thing and they get the spiritual charge. Yeah, that's what happens when I go to Jamaica. Yeah, that's what happens. Man gets recharged. The sisters there uplift, man. Get man ready to come back into the concrete jungle. Not for you, man, that had that recharge, not even.
Follow Express Truth Podcast. Very important. This is the brother, this is his podcast and his friends. So go follow.
Once, blood. Not even once. You're everywhere where people don't look like you. Now the people them are saying potentially we want you gone. You're not one of us. Now you're talking about I'm going to get my passport. Why you never thought about these things when it was all good? Why does it take this? Why does it take an upright? Why does it take this? You could have been deep. You could have been building, fam. You could have had certain things going in. You don't even know nobody.
Yeah, I think I have one more that must be close to the thing. Let's see if we can hear that. That's Express Truth there. Go follow his page. What is it? Open? We're looking at the Belfast terrorism that's going on.
Here with these idiot migrants is here with this what you're not.
I only got
Where is it?
And I say this with the
I think it's this one.
greatest respect to every Irish man, every Irish woman in all of this country. The men, it's time to stand up and come together. It's not enough for women and children to be standing at the front lines. These protests to be packed with women. The men, get off your horses. It's not about staying at home. Screw the jobs, screw the money. The nation's falling apart. And it's time to come together.
Sorry there, I didn't realise who was speaking. Look, he might be a nice man, but he's an African, not platforming no African. No way, Jose. I don't care if he's a nice man. I don't give a shit. No way. This is outside the doll, I believe. If
All right, hold on, folks. Hold on. Now, I want to put something in perspective. Now, remember, a lot of people will be watching this and they expect me to be offended. I'm not offended at all. I'm not offended in the slightest. Like, Love is Blind, like the wake-up call is going to be huge for you guys. Huge. Huge. Now, the heading of this one says...
So I think we've spoken that before where there's a value in people openly... There's all these platforms, I hate black people, whatever. But the value in those kind of platforms is... allegedly, it helps black people who are very, heavily socially... non-black dedicated to working for, the people that you're trying to invest in, they've got other things going on there, some of them, to be fair, right? So I guess that's where this problem's coming with those limits.
I want an Irish island. Listen, this individual, whoever this is, had to cut from his live stream of the Dublin protest in disgust because an African man got a hold of the mic. Attempts to label this individual a racist also fell on deaf ears. Now I'm going to repeat what the heading said one more time. I want an Irish island. Now this is for you, man, who think I need to do my hair like a white man. Maybe if I lighten my skin like a white man. Maybe if I check a white woman. Maybe if I disrespect black women. Maybe if I pretend that I don't know history, I'll be accepted.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, man.
Please.
Yeah, man.
Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
Maybe this guy...
Forgive the language.
...needed this wake-up call. Because what are you doing, fam? What are you doing? This is what I'm saying. This is good for certain, man. I'm sitting back. People, you don't understand. I'm sitting back. And some of this stuff, I'm actually like, yo, it's about time some of these lobbies, like, slap him in his face, man. Wake him up, man. Because he didn't listen when we was telling him.
All right. So this week, we're oh, did I get rid of the thing as well? Oh, no. I'm high off. Really? Okay. Remove. Oh, no. It's playing up again. Remove. All right, there you go. Well, I don't think I got rid of the actual screen. Shame on me. So finally, we're at the 300th episode. If you didn't know, now you know. That's 300 attempts at trying to win the black community. I just came from a tech video. I wanted to film some stuff and put it in there, but the technical issues were there. But it was a good week. Then we also talked about karmelo verdict. Unfortunately, the brother has been given 35 years. We're trying to follow to give you more update on that. And then we're looking at the most even unfortunate as well was the Belfast fires and terrorism that's going on. We're going to listen to one last video with the end. This is a long one, so I don't know how long I'm going to run it for. But let me play this while I'm actually very tired. I was running around all day, haven't I?
What?
Listen to what this individual said. Hold on.
This is...
Let's try this.
People burning out their homes in Belfast and disorder on the streets continues. I'm just going to show you this hideous clip of two black nurses in Belfast.
I only got 3 things from the house.
I'll sit past this.
Because they make them.
The brilliant Sarah Crichton, who is a solicitor and a writer, who is in Belfast. Firstly, great speech to you, Sarah. How you doing?
You too. Hello.
Hey. Okay, I just want you to respond to that clip, actually, because we've seen there, these are nurses who've arrived in Belfast to help people. They want to be part, obviously, of the healthcare system. They want to treat people. They want to save lives. They've been burned out of their homes. They're terrified.
Yeah.
What do it's difficult. It's kind of basic. I mean, kind of how do you respond to that? But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's honestly, I mean, this has just been so upsetting from start to finish. This is probably the worst violence that I can remember in my lifetime, and I don't mean just in terms of like the victims and exactly like how this has happened. It's just what is going on is just so awful, and I have never seen it in my lifetime. I mean, starting with the attack obviously on Monday, which was brutal and absolutely horrendous, and you know, it takes a lot to shock people in Northern Ireland, but that really did shock people. But the stuff that is going on, you know, people being burned out of their homes because of the color of their skin, you know, nurses apparently being followed into the hospital when they're going to do their job by masked men. You know, there's a hit list of properties doing the rounds, you know, of list of properties that people were going to target, stopping people and checking ID. And I mean, Belfast, obviously no stranger to violence, obviously, and obviously we have a history here.
I'll be listening to this and see how quickly it's escalated, you see. We do see the cover about the Sunni, like what is he about, how did he get here, and what was going on there completely. But obviously the reaction is obviously having even more devastating.
Of pogroms where Catholics and Protestants were intimidated out of areas. But that was we were always trying to kill each other, and I mean, I'm not, you know, trying to say that was better, but these people have nothing to do with that, you know, and they've come here and they're working here. And, you know, my dad died about 2 years ago. And when he was in hospital, in the Ulster Hospital, the majority of the staff that looked after him were foreign, you know, and they nursed him until he died. My dad's partner at the time was an Iranian woman. And when he was buried, you know, we went up to the grave, and, you know, traditionally in Protestant families, the women usually didn't go to the grave, but they do now. But usually it's a very private thing for the family. But when we turned up, there were people there, including some of the refugees and asylum seekers that my dad had helped. He was a solicitor like myself, and he had done immigration work. So, you know, the fact that these people are being targeted is just absolutely horrendous. And, you know, we're on the news across the world now, you know, that clip of those nurses, the pain that they feel is being blasted everywhere. And now not only is Belfast associated with the troubles and the horrendous violence that occurred, but now it is also being linked to a racist pogrom. You know, it's just awful. It is so upsetting. And I've talked to so many people, friends and family, who have said to me, you know, I have wept watching the news because they can't believe that this is happening.
I mean, before talking about kind of broader, non-specific Northern Ireland context, you mentioned their history. And, you know, in 1969, in the summer, 20 Catholics were burned out of their homes in Belfast.
Yeah.
So there's obviously that hideous backdrop, and it's hard not to obviously divorce this.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I mean, you know, about that Northern Ireland specific context and history, and how, you know, what's happened here is, you know, because as you said before, it's people attacking each other from different communities, but it's the same phenomenon. It's just being now directed at this othered community of people.
Yeah. You see, Northern Ireland, you know, traditionally, historically had very low levels of immigration because of the Troubles, you know, because obviously people didn't want to move here or live here because we were everybody was blowing each other up, and there was basically a civil war ongoing. So the waves of immigration that have come to Northern Ireland, and it is still relatively low, by the way, in comparison to the United Kingdom, but people maybe feel the effect of that more maybe than other places because they're not used to it. And into this, you know, you have austerity.
All right, family. I've been working all day, and I've just come back from a speech, and it was a very, very good speech, very enjoyed, in the sun as well, which was nice. It was out on top of the roof. It was in there. Big up the organisers there, the tech week. Well, I'm gonna have to go now. I've got to build some. I'm building some designs. Go do it. Whatever. And I'm tired. Yeah, we should cover maybe some of the stuff in the FIFA as well. See, Haiti's in the football, so big up them. Unfortunately, Jamaica were knocked out by, I think, DR Congo. There you go. Okay. So yeah, but unless there's anything anyone wants to say, jump in. I think the link works, by the way. I found the trick. The trick is to post the link before the show starts. That seems to work. But just a recap. We'll remove that. Favorite episode. Big up that. Belfast Terror, Black Tech. We didn't cover that, and the Karmelo verdict. Yeah. Thank you guys. That's 300 episodes we've worked. We couldn't get about you guys, especially the guys who post the videos. And now's the time I'm going to. I know I say it, but I've got so many contracts and stuff that I've got to sort out. Whatever. In time we'll take this show to the next level. Have some more permanent guests that I'm speaking to who might want to jump on, whatever. So they say. So yeah, but you guys are great. I'm very tired. I'm literally dozing off. So I'm gonna go. So don't forget those who black people who spend their time trying to help out the community. Know that you're important, and for those who don't, know that you're loved by those who are important. And we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. And be safe out there. And obviously, try to really observe what you're seeing and hopefully inform you of situations that collectively black people have no friends. Unfortunately, no, that's right. And black people are the poster people of racism. And every time something goes wrong, you have pogroms, what do they call it? Pogroms. So be careful out there, brother, and be constructive. Until next week, Black Betterment to all. And to all Black Betterment, I'm very tired. Black Betterment, have a good one. All right. Hope you have a good time. Find the stream. Let's go.